Hello everyone, it's Thuan again, and I'm so happy to see you all. Actually, today was supposed to be part 2 of the podcast on the topic of love, but tomorrow is my birthday, ta-da. So, today I want to do a podcast about my 21st year. I want to express my gratitude. I'm truly thankful to have had all of you accompany me through my 21st year, and I'm also incredibly happy that I've been able to become a tiny part of someone's growth journey. So I'm genuinely super grateful and super happy. Anyway, no more beating around the bush. Let's get into the podcast now. I once read an article that said people mature in 3-year cycles, and I find that to be true for myself. When I was 18, I was super naive. Like, really naive. And my life's trajectory completely changed course. If you asked 15-year-old me if she ever imagined I'd turn out like this, that little girl would definitely never have pictured it. I don't know if it's good or bad, but there were things that completely altered my life's path, to the point where my middle and high school friends would never have guessed I'd be like this now. Then at 21, I continued to make more foolish mistakes, and my life's trajectory got messed up again. And it was precisely that naivete that led me into many crises and left me feeling stuck countless times. All foolishness comes at a price, and even now, I'm still paying for it. I'm not done yet, just almost done, a little bit more to go. I'm really excited to overcome all my foolishness so I can tell you all about it. And I think, on this journey of learning to be an adult, I'm not the only one who has these impulsive, hot-headed, reckless moments. I think quite a few people are like that. I'll share the problems I faced and how I somehow managed to overcome them. When I was a little kid, my grandfather told me, "Do you know what a successful life is?" My grandfather said, "A successful life isn't about becoming a billionaire or a millionaire or having status and power that makes everyone fear you. It's about waking up every morning feeling happy, feeling love and gratitude for this life. You have people who love you, and you love them too. You're grateful for life, and you always feel that your life is complete and abundant." He said, "That's a successful life." Back then, I was so young, I didn't really understand what my grandfather was saying. But those words stuck in my head, and as I grew up unconsciously, I always wanted to find the answer to the question, what is a successful life? And also, what do I truly like? And what kind of things bring me happiness? And precisely because I kept searching for those answers, I fell into crises. I don't know why, but I feel like for our generation, the media, news, books, everything around us all lead us to one message. You must live a meaningful, brilliant life. And popular media channels, like Ken 14 or TikTok and other trending channels for young people, always post news like, Gen Z earns hundreds of millions a month, or Gen Z works in fields that both fulfill their dreams and make money. This makes any Gen Z individuals whose lives aren't like that feel inferior. I'm not just saying this myself. I've actually watched such news reports and videos, and when I read the comments, a lot of Gen Z people, I think the majority commented things like, "My life isn't like this," and "I feel pathetic, like a failure, a loser," and so on. But I've observed that these very things contribute to me falling into crises, and I think it's not just me, but quite a few young people my age experience many common crises, most notably existential crisis and identity crisis. Simply put, an identity crisis is a state where we don't fully understand ourselves. We don't know our strengths, weaknesses, or personality at all. An existential crisis, on the other hand, is when we feel difficulty, fatigue, helplessness, stress, and even depression because we don't know what we're living for, what the meaning or purpose of our life is, and we're constantly immersed in thoughts about what our life's purpose might be. And these crises truly make my life feel terrible. This is just my guess. Nowadays, many young people like us experience identity crises. We don't understand who we are, so we become obsessed with astrology, numerology, and personality tests. Because we don't clearly understand who we are, we need something to define us, to decipher and deeply understand ourselves better. I'm not saying those things are bad, but whether it's astrology, numerology, or personality tests, all of them are based on statistics, and statistics always have margins of error. There's never any statistic that's 100% accurate. And unconsciously, when we believe in astrology, become obsessed with astrology and numerology and personality tests, we completely trust those judgments and define ourselves in that way. People will label themselves, put themselves into that type of person, and act accordingly. When we label ourselves, we are unconsciously limiting ourselves because each person has their own unique genetic makeup, their own living environment, their own education, and many other things that influence the development of their personality and behavior. And things like astrology, numerology, or even fortune-telling at most are only about 50–60% accurate, and that's already a lot. So, if there are people who are obsessed to the point of, for example, saying, "I won't date him because he's a Libra," or "I won't date her because she's a September Virgo," that's a bit much, you know. I find that today's media always pushes the idea that everyone comes into this world with a unique mission, and we must discover and fulfill that mission. That's why it led me into an existential crisis, as I mentioned earlier. But the other day, I watched a TD video, and it talked about the first person who created existentialism, the theory that actually gave birth to the existential crisis. Existentialism posits that every person, upon arriving in this world, has a mission that they must fulfill, living with a purpose. That's why people are constantly searching for their life's purpose. What am I living for? To avoid falling into an existential crisis. Not long after, another philosopher came up with a theory called absurdism, which argues that everything in this world is meaningless. Nothing in life has meaning, everything is nonsensical. Sayings like, "When you wish for something, the entire universe will conspire to make it happen for you," and blah blah blah, for me, that's all completely deceptive, utterly untrue. This world, everything is meaningless. When you wish for something, the universe remains silent. And he believed that precisely because this world is meaningless, this life is meaningless, people must do things to make this life not meaningless. In short, that video was a bit hard to understand, and if I were to explain the whole thing, it would be too long. So, later, after you finish listening, you can click on that video to watch it. I'll put the link in the description. Even now, I still haven't fully answered the question, what is my purpose in life? What am I living for? If it's about answering those questions to escape a crisis, to overcome a crisis, I don't have that method. I don't have any way to overcome crises. But I dive headfirst into them, I confront them, and I live with them. Even now, I still don't know if those crises have passed or if I've conquered or overcome them. But I do know that those crises no longer affect me strongly in a negative way. Do you all know about gratitude journaling? I swear, this is something that has made my life so much better, many times over. I'm absolutely not advertising this, I repeat, 100% not advertising. A while ago, a company that produced gratitude journals contacted me to advertise their product. So, before I advertised, they sent me a sample product to use. Initially, I thought, well, I'll just use it, no harm in trying, so I did. But I swear, everyone, ever since I started gratitude journaling, my life has become so much brighter. You don't necessarily have to buy that specific journal like I did. It's just that I received it as a gift and I wasn't going to buy one myself, so I used it. You can go on Google and search for Japanese gratitude method, how to write a gratitude journal, or even live can dream big. So, I'm telling you, this is truly, truly from the bottom of my heart. If you're feeling stuck in life, try writing a gratitude journal. Try searching how to write a gratitude journal on Google, then buy a normal notebook or even just use your phone to take notes. But you have to write every single day, every day. I swear you'll change a lot. I don't know if you're as bad-tempered as I am, but this past year, I went through quite a lot, and I don't understand why, but when my life isn't going so well, I tend to get angry easily with my loved ones. It's like I know they'll never leave me, so I treat them rudely. Or maybe I feel like I've always had to be polite, had to be a good person to the world, so when I'm with my loved ones, I don't want to put up a front anymore. I don't understand why, but for some reason, I chose such curt and rude behavior to treat the people I care about most. And after every time I got angry or was rude, I genuinely felt heartbroken, everyone. The moment I did it, I felt that pain. I just couldn't understand why I was like that, why I chose to act that way with the people who love me the most. It truly broke my heart. I think that's something I definitely need to fix. And what's even more embarrassing is that when I know I'm wrong, I should apologize, right? I should say, "Mom, I'm sorry for my inappropriate behavior." Or, "I'm sorry, honey, for how I acted." Right? No, everyone. After each time, often I'd just ignore it. I'd make it up to them by cooking them a nice meal or treating them well or buying them a gift, but I never actually said the words, "I'm sorry." So this past year, I changed one thing. I learned to say, "Thank you," and "I'm sorry." Even if they are my close friends, my loved ones, family, best friends, or my partner, when I make a mistake, I need to apologize clearly. And when they do something for me, I also need to say, thank you. Because I used to think that because we were close, I felt awkward saying, thank you, and I'm sorry. But recently, I've started to realize that if I don't say, thank you, and I'm sorry, regularly, I'll gradually start to take what they do for granted, view their good deeds as obvious, and even think that the not-so-good things I do to them are normal. I don't want that. I don't want to consider such things normal. So I've learned to say, thank you, and I'm sorry. Overall, my 21st year was really unstable, super unstable, everyone. Just when I thought everything was fine, nope, it wasn't. If any of you invest in stocks, you'd know about the cycles where between two major peaks, there are always smaller peaks within them. Oh, actually, let me put it this way for easier understanding. Between two highest mountain peaks, there will always be smaller mountains in between, and there will always be an up and down, up and down, up and down process, right? So when I was at those smaller peaks, I'd think, oh, I've overcome all the deep valleys of life, I've reached the top. But no, I'd just fall back to the bottom again, and it would keep going up and down, never knowing when I'd reach the next major peak. Those times when I thought, okay, I'm fine now, I'm out of the cave, yeah. No, somehow things would just be like, oh, it's not okay yet, or something. So there were many times I felt unstable. One day, I called home and tried my best to act like everything was fine, like nothing was wrong. But my mom gave birth to me, my mom knows me, so she said, something's wrong, isn't it? Your skin looks pale lately and you're losing so much hair. Your hair is all over the place and you have acne and everything. Something's wrong, right? So I didn't want my mom to worry and I told her, no, just a few small issues, it's nothing. Then my mom said, well, I can't really help with anything, but if you need money, I can send it to you. And suddenly, after hearing my mom say that, I started crying. I cried really loudly. I felt like I had grown so much that my parents couldn't solve my problems anymore. I had grown up, stepped into a different world, and my parents no longer understood this world. They could only choose to stand from a distance, knowing about that world through my stories, and they could only choose to trust me unconditionally. So, I felt like I had really grown up, and then suddenly I cried. It wasn't that I was crying to my mom to be weak or to make her worry, but I used to think if I cried and showed weakness, my mom would worry. But I realized, yes, I'm living in a very different world from my parents, and if I don't tell them what I'm going through, if I don't talk to them about my life, they'll feel left behind. They'll feel like I've forgotten them, and they won't truly know if their child's life is okay, what problems they're facing, why their skin looks pale, why their hair is falling out, why their face is breaking out. And when you see something clearly not okay but don't know why it's not okay, you'll worry, right? My parents were the same. They saw that their child clearly wasn't okay, but they didn't understand why, so they were very worried. So I decided to tell my mom everything. Oh my God, I cried. I told her, Mom, I failed again, one more time. I said, again? Mom, I guess my mom heard me crying and then she said, listen, you're only 21. You have a whole lifetime to be an adult. Just find what you like, experience mistakes, make mistakes, and fix them. My mom reminded me of the many times I had fought hard to pursue the paths I wanted and had tried so hard to convince my family to let me do the things I wanted. My mom reiterated those things and said, you tried so hard to do those things, and at that time, those were exactly what you wanted to do. So, keep enjoying this journey. You're still so small, so young, only 21. You have a whole lifetime to be an adult. So just live happily, live normally. Just keep moving forward, don't carry so many burdens on your back. You don't need to do that. I went through some pretty bad times, to the point where I had to seek psychological counseling. I never want to go back to that period, but I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it because it helped me change for the better, become stronger, and I learned so many things from it. And above all, thanks to those experiences, I appreciate the smallest things in life. But the other day, I listened to a podcast with Thuan and Ms. Nguyen Mai Phuong, and Ms. Nguyen Mai Phuong mentioned something called survivor bias. That is, when people talk about a certain issue, they often only remember those who succeeded. They forget the rest, the number of people who failed. For example, when talking about not going to college or dropping out of college, people only remember successful entrepreneurs who dropped out and later founded their own companies, like the CEOs of Facebook or Apple. But people don't remember those who also dropped out of college and then ended up working in financially unstable jobs. And then, people always quote, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." They only remember inspiring stories of people who faced difficulties and then rose powerfully. But that's also truly unfair to those who also went through similar hardships but ultimately couldn't overcome them, and no one remembers them or mentions them. That's what's called survivor bias. When I heard her say that, something inside me clicked, something enlightened me. I always thank the difficulties I encountered in life because they made me stronger, but I forgot that to overcome those difficulties, it wasn't just because I was talented, not just because of my own inner strength, but also because I had others accompanying me. Humans are social animals, and honestly, if you want to overcome something completely alone, it's quite difficult. I am an individual but also a member of a larger society, and this taught me to learn how to ask for help, and to accept help from others, and also to be there for others when they need me. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those who intentionally helped me, like my friends, my relatives, my mentors, people whom I directly told, "Okay, I'm having a problem, I'm facing an issue, can you help me?" And they did help me. I'm also grateful for those who helped me unintentionally, inadvertently. People who create videos online, or authors of books, people who don't even know me, but somehow I came across them, and the things they created helped me get better. I'm grateful for those people too. And precisely because I've been through such terrible stages, it's also given me the skill to be more empathetic and understanding towards others. There are people who seem perfectly normal, who don't appear to have any problems. But when I connect with them deeply and listen to their stories, I realize they also have their pains, their mistakes, their stumbles, things that haunt them. They too experience crises just like countless others. Not everyone's life is as easy as they portray it on the outside. These very insights have made me more understanding and empathetic towards everyone. And in the process of helping and receiving help from others, I realized one thing. A part of the skill of helping others is knowing how to listen. Before, I was terrible at listening. When I saw a friend feeling sad, I'd immediately want to cheer them up, immediately tell them to try harder, and hastily offer advice and solutions. But that's not what my friend needed. What my friend needed was to be heard, to be understood, to receive a hug. And most importantly, I needed to give them a sense of safety, not try to fix what they were saying or express whether I agreed or disagreed with them. This isn't the time to say such things. When my friend has a problem and confides in me, the most important thing is to give them a sense of security so they can say what they want to say. And we shouldn't try to correct what they say. Don't say, "Oh, I agree," or "I disagree," or "You did this wrong." This isn't the time to say such things. They simply want to find someone to listen to them and confide in, not someone to tell them what's right or wrong or how to solve their problem. More than anyone, they are the ones who know what they need to do because they've been living with that problem 24 hours a day, so they understand their own issue, right? So if they don't ask us for advice, just listen. Listen to your friend sincerely. In reality, when someone has a problem and confides in others, they simply need someone to listen to them. There are many times I didn't dare tell anyone I wasn't okay because I couldn't stand seeing someone flustered because they couldn't help me. And I noticed that when people are friends with someone who has mental health issues, they often place a responsibility on their own shoulders to heal their friend, to help them overcome those things. And I'm so afraid that if my friends can't help me, they'll feel sad. So, many times when I'm unstable, I choose to carry it alone because I don't want to make anyone else unstable like me. So, sometimes when someone shares a problem they're facing, they simply want someone to listen. No need for solutions or advice. Just being there with them is more than enough. That's all. When I was in high school, my teacher told me that the best way to practice something is to teach it to someone else. So now, whenever my friends are unstable and come to me for advice, I share with them in the most sincere and thorough way possible. I know that when I myself face instability like my friends, I can go back and look at the things I told them. Normally, we're insightful, right? But when we encounter problems, we're not so insightful anymore. When we're in a problem, we tend to exaggerate everything, and our thoughts get all tangled up, leading nowhere. Everything becomes a confusing mess, and we don't know how to untangle it. So, in those moments, I'll go back to my old messages with a friend and review them like, "Ah, I advised you like this before, so now I just need to follow that." Or, if you have a close enough friend, you should tell them, you should ask for help from others, because someone standing on the outside can always see the whole picture and find where the knot is to untangle it better. If any of you follow my Instagram, like the podcast's Instagram, my latest story said that lately I've been having some issues with online content creation, and I even thought about wanting to temporarily just stop producing podcasts altogether. So I sought help from my friend to ask for advice and solutions, and it helped me. And then we posted about our conversation on Instagram, and that's when I realized that many times when we're stuck in a problem, we can't see the solution. So, in those moments, we should seek help from others. It's not always about overcoming things on our own or enduring them. We don't always have enough clarity to do that. In my 21st year, I also ended a few relationships, not just romantic ones, but friendships too. I find that the term ex-best friend sounds even more heartbreaking than ex-lover. Love has clear breakups and endings, but friendships aren't like that. At some point, when we realize our paths of growth are no longer aligned, we gradually drift apart. I know that growing up means ending some relationships and being okay with people coming and going in your life. I know all that, I understand it, but I still feel sad, I still find it hard to accept. There are some relationships, even though I knew they would eventually end, and even when they did, I never regretted their beginning. And if I had to choose again, I would definitely still choose that beginning. I'm always grateful to have accompanied them on a journey, and when we both couldn't continue together anymore, then it just had to end. I always feel happy that those relationships began. I don't know if this is called being selfish or what, but I'm no longer trying to be a good person. A good person is someone who always tries to please everyone. I don't want that anymore. I don't want to put myself after everyone else anymore, and I've learned how to say no. I've learned to refuse things I don't want. In the past, if I was busy or not feeling well, but someone asked me for a favor, I'd say, yes, anyway, then do everything while feeling resentful. But now that I'm older, I can't do that anymore. I've learned to say no. The other day, I was super busy. A friend who had just broken up texted me saying, "Hey, are you there? Can we talk on the phone for a bit? I'm so sad." I told my friend that I was genuinely busy at that moment, really swamped. My assignment was due at 12 and it was 10 o'clock and I still wasn't finished. So I told my friend, "I'm sorry, but I really need to work on my assignment right now. How about tomorrow morning at 9? Are you free then? I'll call you." Honestly, at that moment, after I said that, I wondered if I was being too cold-hearted. But then I thought, if I listened to my friend confide right then, I'd probably still be rushing with my own work, so I wouldn't truly be listening 100%, and that wouldn't be good at all. I might even be listening while feeling annoyed inside, thinking, "Oh my God, I'm so busy, why do I have to sit here and listen to my friend's problems?" That wouldn't be good either. So I realized, yeah, this way is better. Learning to say no when you can't or don't want to is a good thing. And of course, when I act this way, not as many people will like me as before. But I've realized that if I have people who don't like me, looking at it from a positive perspective, it means I'm treating myself well, I have a very good connection with myself, I'm living authentically, and I'm prioritizing my quality of life. Before, I was an overthinker, a sensitive person, and I always tried to please everyone. But I realized that doing that isn't good at all. Because when I try to please everyone and don't voice the things that bother me, others will never know that some small things they do might make me sad, or they won't realize that their careless words can hurt me. And everyone around me also won't know what makes me happy, what makes me sad, what makes me angry, and these things will significantly affect my mental state. So now, I no longer want to put myself after others. I just want to be a decent person. I'm no longer the good person, the person everyone liked, as I used to be. Thank you all for listening to the podcast until now, and thank you all for accompanying me throughout my 21st year. I truly hope that we will continue to accompany each other on future journeys. Thank you for being here. Goodbye and see you again.